Hey everybody, Sean here from BoredParacord and Paracord.com. Today I want to show you a single strand Trilobite. So real easy, it's just what it sounds like. We're going to have one working end. Normally you have two where you're weaving that in and out, but today we're just going to do one. So to get started, I have about 15 feet of red. One of the favorite colors to work with. It's so bright and vibrant. I know it's kind of washed out on the video, but let me see if I can turn the brightness down just a little. There we go. Anyways, 15 feet of red, half-inch buckle. Um, you could probably go up to a 5/8 buckle or a 3/4 inch buckle because this tends to be a little bit wider than what a half-inch would use. I just don't have any right here. So yeah, half-inch buckle, one strand trilobite. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a cow's hitch on the buckle, but we only want it to be, well, you want your one strand here very short. You want this to be longer than what your wrist size is. So if you measure, I don't know, 7-inch wrist, you want this to be about a foot because what we're going to end up doing, you might want to go a little longer than that. We're going to end up tucking this in, and this is going to be one of our inner strands. We won't be using this end. So measure out about 12 to 14 inches, and that's your cow's hitch point right there. So what we're going to do is create a loop at that point. Take your half-inch buckle, and from the back side, you are going to press that up through the buckle, open up a loop, just like that. Actually, I'm sorry, that went the wrong way. You're going to go from the top down. So create that loop, top down. You're going to have a loop poking out the bottom. Open up that loop, and then you're just going to stuff the buckle through the loop. Bring that around. That's going to give us our cow's hitch. Real simple. And now you can see we've got one working strand here and one really long strand here. So I'm just going to get that down on the floor. We're going to flip our buckle over. This guy's just going to get out of the way for now. And I'm going to grab the end of this cord. Oh, there's a lot here. It's always good on a trilobite to be a little longer than you think because it ends up using up a little bit of cord. Alright, we're just going to, you can go either way on this, top or bottom. We're just going to stuff this through. It might be easier. I thought I flattened it. Yeah, I did. There we go. Alright, pull all the cord through. So what we're making is 3 inner strands. You need 3 inner strands for this one. So this counts as 1. This is 1. This is 2. So now we run it back to the other side. Okay. So if we open up our buckle, let's just show you where we're at now. We have the one end we started with. Now you're going to set your length because you ran it through the other side. Okay, let's do this. Okay, just like that. So you're going to set your length of how wide or how long you want your bracelet to be at this point. And let's just say we're going to do it that long. Now you're going to run the cord back through this buckle. And you got to do this from the bottom. And I'll show you why. Because we're going to hide this. So you want to go to the other end again. And from the back side of the buckle, bring that up and through. And what we're going to do is we're going to open this cow's hitch up once we set our length. Okay, so we'll get our length here again. And that looks about right. And we got a little bit of a twist going on in our cord here. So you might want to fix the twist. And the way you do that is you're going to have to run everything back through the buckle, find where your twists are, just like that, and then run this up through here and untwist it. There we go. And get your buckles laying flat. So the bottom of the buckle is facing your table. Alright, once you have that, we're going to open up the cow's hitch. and run this down through to the back side of the bracelet. And what that's going to do for us, it's going to lock in our working end. Alright, just like that. And then go ahead and pull the cow's hitch tight. So now we have 3 working ends here. So what we have to do with this guy, this one that we started with, we're going to bring this through the buckle. Okay, let's bring that through. And you want all 3 of these to be the same length. And we're going to create just a little bit of a knot here. So what you're going to do is you're going to go from the back side of the buckle, bring it up through the back, create a loop here, go around this first cord, and just bring it through. And that's going to be our knot. And we'll go back, once everything is finished, we're going to cut this and singe it right there. And you want to pull this nice and tight because you don't want it to move on you. And I pulled it a little too tight because that one is actually a little shorter than the others, and you want them to all be the same length. So we're going to loosen this up a little. Make sure we got all the same length here. And there we go. Now we can go ahead and really ratchet it down. And just double check your length. Alright, so now we're at this point when we can start weaving. And you want to stretch this out because we want to make sure that all these cords kind of stay in the same spot. So we have our 3 cords, and you want them to all lay flat without them kind of overlapping each other. And you can kind of see they're all running parallel to each other. And once we do this, all we're doing is weaving. So you've got your 3 cords on the inside and you have your 1 inner cord. So you're going to go over the first cord, under, and over to the left side. Last week I did the Cetus Trilobite, and it's very similar to that. And I was like, well, if you can do it with 2 cords, why couldn't you just do it with 1? Alright, so we get to the other side, and we're just going to wrap around that first side. Let me zoom in on this for you so you can see what I'm doing here. You're going to wrap around the first cord, over the middle, and out under the last cord. So going to the right, well, let's do it from the left. And then you're going to pinch everything up toward the top. Just like that. Alright, so this part, going this way, it's over, under, over. Going to the right, it's under, over, under. So let's go back the other way. Over the first one, under the second one, and over the third one. And then pull everything through. Hold on to your middle cords here. Pull everything nice and tight and cinch it up toward the buckle. Just like so. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to wrap around, under, let me turn up the brightness just a touch, under, over, under, just like that, real easy. This is probably one of the easiest weaves you can do. The only problem is keeping everything tight. Once you figure that out, it is smooth sailing. There we go. Alright, and this one's over, under, over, over, under, over. Just like that. This ends up being a really, really thin bracelet. And the 1/2-inch buckle looks pretty good on it too, I think. We'll see when it's all done. Alright, gonna do a couple more here, and then I'm gonna break and finish this all up. So just remember, it's opposite of your first pass. So if your first pass was over, under, over, then it's the opposite of that. It's under, over, under. Pretty easy. And then just cinch everything up. Pull it tight, cinch it up. You want to make the last pass that you did look just like the one right before it. If you can do that, you'll have a nice looking bracelet throughout. And this side is over, under, over. And you might want to grab a fid, because when you get to the end of this bracelet, you're going to need a fid. Or a pair of needle nose pliers works too. Something to open up, little gaps where you can slide the paracord through. Either one of those works great. Alright, and there you can see the pattern starting to come together. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and when I come back, we're going to finish up this bracelet. So I am down to the bottom here, and let me see if I can focus this just a little better for you guys. Okay, so you want to try and make sure that your cord comes off to the right side wherever you have this piece coming through. And I've already went ahead and I've cut off all my extra. I just have a little bit here left. And out of that 15 feet or so that I started with, I have about 4 foot, 5 foot left. So you could definitely shorten this up. Try starting with around, I don't know, 10 feet and see where that gets you. Maybe make it 11 just to be on the safe side. I think you'll be okay. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to figure out how to finish this. And I went ahead and untied the knot because it just doesn't look right. So we're going to finish this and make it look a little nicer. So go ahead and pull this last one that you just did tight. And see how nice and uniform this looks all the way down? There's a couple little spots in there. For the most part, you can just push on it and it will go right back in. So the first thing I want to do is take the piece that's coming up through the buckle. We're going to wrap it around the back side and around, and we want to push it through here. So one easy way to do that is to take a fid and just put it down through where you want it to go, because you don't have a whole lot of cord here. And then we're just going to put the cord in the end of that and screw the fid onto it so that I can pull it through. You can use needle nose pliers too, that works just as good. And once you get that through, I'm just going to loosen it. So basically we just brought that through down toward the back side of the bracelet and pull it snug. It doesn't have to be completely snug yet. We'll do that at the end. And then we're going to use the same fid and lace it onto the other one. And we're going to kind of do the same thing, but we're going to take this one over top this way, around the back, pull it snug, and then we're going to stick this down through the bottom as well. And whichever way you can get it through there is fine. Just like that. Go ahead and pull these tight. And this is probably one of the cleanest ways that I can finish this. And we're just going to make our cuts here and here and melt it. And once we have it, so you've got your pattern, should have a solid. It may not look exactly like this, but you get the idea. So we're going to make our cut here, as close to the bracelet as you can get. I'm going to go ahead and singe that one. I really need to get a smoothing tool on my kit over here. Alright, so that one's nice and sealed in there, nice and smooth, so it's not going to irritate your skin. Take the fid off of here and cut this as well. Now, one thing I did notice that I really do like about this is that it's a thin bracelet. It's very thin, you can see, and it's not very wide. The 1/2-inch buckle, I'm kind of surprised, looks really well on this style Trilobite, and that's because I kind of figured it out. If you're doing a standard Trilobite, you've got 4 inner strands, and there we go. But on this one, you've only got 3 inner strands, so each section here is all the same. So if you had 4 inner strands, it would be about this wide. But since we don't have it, we're only about this wide, and it's only about as thick as my finger, or as wide as my finger. So I really like this. It's going to look really good on my wrist. Nice and thin. I like the thin bracelets. I don't like the bulky stuff. But there it is. That is the single strand Trilobite. Mess around with the finish on here. It probably would have looked better if I had went one more pass so that this little part here was right here. And doing one more pass would have made this centerpiece kind of fill up this void right here. So mess around with the end. Let me see what you come up with. I think it turned out really nice. I'm a big fan of the Trilobite. Um, if you haven't already, head on over to the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/paracordon, and post what you made. I would love to see it. Tons of people in there, tons of people commenting, all kinds of different stuff in there. People are super creative, so check that out. And if you're interested in paracord, check out the links below. I will have a list to all of the items I used in this video and more. So that's a great help to us. It'll keep our channel going. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, paracord on.